Hey everyone, Blaze here. Welcome back to another collection video. This one is really, obviously, overdue, but we're going to be taking a look at one of my more wishy-washy parts of my collection, although also one of my most favourites, and that is my Seinen Action gun shows, cyberpunk shows, anything that's really about, people gunning down other people and crime and stuff, as well as some stuff that's sort of like seinen drama, mystery sort of stuff. It's all a bit here, there, and everywhere. It's just a bunch of stuff that feels right together, but there's not really a clear defined genre either. But yeah, to me, this just all really feels right together. So, as I mentioned a long time ago, we're doing this collection video. This part of it anyway, in 4 sections, one for each shelf, because there's a lot of stuff to get through. So yeah, we'll be concentrating on this section today. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay then, so first up we have 0091, the complete series on DVD from Funimation. Really like the packaging on this one. It's just a nice looking release. The DVDs on the inside are pretty cool as well. Yeah, this series, 12 episodes, plus it says bonus. I assume there's like an extra OVA or something. I enjoyed this show. It's pretty good. It's sort of like this weird alternate future where the Cold War never ended, and it's all like a world that's full of like spies and all that sort of thing. It's full of like espionage and all that sort of stuff. I don't know how much of a connection this has to like Cyborg 009. I don't know if the name is just meant to reflect the fact that the same character designer and original author. I don't know if this is based on a manga that he did. I know there's a live action TV series of this as well. I don't know which came first, but yeah. Anyway, the show itself is pretty good. It's not the most amazing thing in the world, but I did really like it. I thought it was solid fun and an interesting story overall. There's some pretty good episodes in this. It's fairly episodic, but there's one episode in particular I really liked. I can't quite remember the name, but basically the main female lead here, she ends up meeting someone who she knew in the past. I think it was almost like a quote-unquote sensei or whatever. Someone who helped her learn the skills of the trade or whatnot. And yeah, they have a pretty good little showdown of sorts. I think that's how it goes. I know Vic Mignogna played the other character, like the sensei, whatever type character. I don't know. It was a decent show. Not amazing, but decent. So yeah, 0091, go back in, please. Ugh, there we go. Okay, next up we got a really cool series. We've got 91 Days, the complete series. Yeah, so this is set in, I think it's like, what do they call that era? Like Prohibition? Is it called the Prohibition? I don't know a lot about American history, but yeah, set around like the 1930s in America. And yeah, this is basically just a mob gangster drama, basically about this guy here who wants to get vengeance on the gangster family, whatever, mob, mafia, that killed his family when he was a young child, and he ended up surviving. They didn't know, so he basically infiltrates their system, and yeah, so basic revenge story. It's pretty cool. I did enjoy it a lot. Definitely one of the highlights of when it came out, which I think is 2015 now, 2015, 2016. It was a cool show. I definitely recommend watching 91 Days. It's really neat. Okay, this is the first of like the cyberpunk stuff, which is in amongst all this cyberpunk sci-fi stuff. This is also the first of a lot of the Mega Tokyo franchise. I've kind of thought about having all that sort of stuff, like the AD Police, Bubblegum Crisis, Appleseed, Cowboy Bebop, and all that sort of sci-fi, cyberpunky type stuff in its own section, but it also kind of feels right here. I don't know. I'd like to hear your opinions on it. That's why I'm bringing this up, because I've been really debating about the splitting it all up. But right now I'm kind of comfortable where it is. But anyway, yeah, so AD Police. This is basically a, as it says on the cover there, prequel to Bubblegum Crisis. A 3-episode OVA that follows Leon in the AD Police. And it's pretty good. It kind of just follows the same sort of quality as Bubblegum Crisis. The soundtrack is absolutely fantastic. and just the overall setting of Mega Tokyo with its like clear like Blade Runner influences and stuff, as well as well, actually that's more Bubblegum Crisis, which we'll get into in a minute, but yeah, like the Blade Runner influences and things like that. It's a really, really neat OVA. It's not the best ever, but I enjoyed it for what it was. It's only 3 episodes, about half an hour each per episode. Really like the cover on this one. It's kind of, you know, over the top 80s, you know, big hair, beach body sort of muscly thing, but then you've also got like the cyberpunk stuff, and it's bright yellow. I don't know, I think it's a cool looking release. This is Animego, isn't it? Yeah, Animego DVD. Okay, and next up we've got AD Police, the TV series, or otherwise known as AD Police 1999, which is when the TV series aired. So this is like a weird thing. This is basically, I think it's like 12, 13 episodes, and it's a reimagining, retelling, sort of just completely different, but also completely the same story that follows 2 new characters, different characters in the AD Police, and it's weird because like in the original series of Bubblegum Crisis and AD Police, like a lot of the things they're tracking down are like boomers, I think they're called, like these basically robot helpers, like builders or whatever, that have gone awry. Sort of Palo-esque in that way, but in this series, it's just like it's the same setup, but everything's different. So we've got like Genome City, and like, is it gonna say what the freaking boomers are called in this? It's like something completely different. I don't know. I can't find it on the back. I don't really remember too much about this because it just wasn't very good. That's the long and the short of it. AD Police 1999 is not a very good series. Not something I would overly highly recommend. Interesting. One little interesting tidbit about this is because it was come out in 1999. This is one of a handful of shows that I've experienced. I'm sure there are more that I haven't. That came out around this period that have both digital and cell animated, like original painted cell animation from shot to shot. It can be kind of jarring. Like you'll literally have a character on the screen, he'll be cell painted, then he'll move on like quickly, and it'll be digital, then it'll go back to cell, and it can be really jarring because the differences in the quality of like the saturation of color between those two differing production things or whatever is quite apparent. So it can be quite jarring. The series overall, I just didn't really like AD Police 1999. It just kind of felt a bit, I don't know, just wasn't that great. It had a kind of cool plot, but it just didn't really live up to its potential. Okay, so next up we have this is the original manga entertainment DVD. I still don't have the discotheque release. I'd like to get the discotheque Blu-ray. It is an upscale, but I'd still kind of like to get it. It seems relatively decent, the upscale. I don't know. It's kind of, I don't really know why they did the upscale, but I don't know, whatever. Angel Cop. This is a crazy, crazy OVA. 6 episodes. It ran for a long time. Like each episode, I think, is about 40 minutes or something, maybe. But yeah, I remember that this OVA like started in like, I don't know, like 1989, and sort of ran to like all the way up to like 1994, like basically 1 episode a year or something. And it's got some pretty decent animation in it. There's a scene in the early parts of the first episode which is absolutely brutal. Like it's just basically this woman getting shot in the face multiple times by like basically a Magnum type handgun or whatever, and it just blows. You see a bloody skull get blown apart and a brain goes over it. It's fucked up. Overall, though, this OVA is pretty dumb and stupid, but it's a lot of fun as well. It's definitely a cheese fest, and you've got giant, big 80s hair, and just the dub is ridiculous. One of the most famous lines from this is like, "If that's justice, then I'm a banana." It's basically what this character here says, or something to that effect. So yeah, Angel Cop, it's pretty good fun. I definitely want to get the discotheque. Either the Blu-ray or the DVD, because I think the DVD looks slightly better, or probably even considerably better than this manga DVD. I'll probably keep the manga DVD though, because as you know, I like collecting these. So speaking of manga DVDs that are also got discotheque releases, or soon will anyway, sometime this month. We got the original OVA for Appleseed. So this is kind of a rare, interesting little thing. Because obviously Appleseed is mainly known now as like the CG films that came out in like the early to mid 2000s. But yeah, like way back in the day, I think it was like the late 80s. Yeah, it did also get a 45-minute cell animated OVA. So this is proper normal 2D animation. This is the only part of the franchise that's ever gotten this treatment, and it's a pretty decent little story. I like it. I like seeing Dunan and Bierios in 2D, especially with their most. This is where they look most like their manga counterparts in terms of like the character designs and stuff. And yeah, Discotheque are re-releasing this. I guess I kind of just went straight into this, but Appleseed is one of my absolute favorite franchises in anime. I just really enjoy these stories, obviously based on the manga by Masamune Shiro, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that's his name. The same guy that created Ghost in the Shell or whatever. This is the title he first created, I believe, and it was the first one that really took off. And yeah, I'm always happy to get more Appleseed. I have the whole franchise here as we'll be going through. But yeah, I do enjoy this OVA. It's pretty good. And as I said, Discotheque are re-releasing it this month. I actually do have it on pre-order. I'm kind of buying it just because I really want to support the fact that this is getting a re-release, and it will come with a slipcover and the packaging is slightly different. Maybe there'll be a slight bump up in video quality, though I'm not really expecting much. But anyway, whatever. I kind of just wanted to support more Appleseed on the market. So yeah, Appleseed. And then I've got the DVD steelbook for the first of the CG movies that came out. I think this came out like 2004. This only contains the original dub. Yeah, this is a collector's edition. I think it might have a soundtrack in here as well. I don't really know. It's a pretty nice steelbook, obviously DVD steelbook, but yeah, Appleseed. But then I also have the movie on Blu-ray as well. Obviously, this is the first experience I ever got of the Appleseed franchise, a franchise as I've already mentioned, I really like, and yes, it is Masamune Shiro, as it says on the cover. Yeah, this is the original Sentai Blu-ray. This is kind of cool because Sentai basically, they include the old dub in the extras, but they also put in a new dub that matches the rest of the CG franchise. So it's got Lucy Christian as Dunan. So yeah, it just all matches up. Same voice actor for Brierios, which I don't really remember his name right now, but yeah, I really enjoy this movie. It's not the best anime movie by any means, but I love these two characters. The relationship of Dunan and Brierios is one of my favorites in anime. It's just so genuine and so cool. I really like it a lot. It kind of reminds me in this really weird way of, I mean, it's sort of different because this is a romance thing, but it kind of reminds me of the connection you have between Edward Elric and Alphonse, and I generally wonder if Arakawa, the original mangaka for Fullmetal Alchemist, was influenced by this. I'm sure she probably was. I'm sure there's information out there that says precisely that she was, because if you look at these two characters and then you think about Edward Elric and Alphonse, like it's pretty much the same sort of stuff going on. So yeah. And yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of fan fiction for Edward and Al that takes the romance side of this as well. But anyway, so next up we've got Appleseed Ex Machina. This is another steelbook DVD. It's kind of cool this came out because this wasn't put out by Genion. Warner Brothers put this one out, so you can see on the spine. And yeah, this is the follow-up. I think it's like pretty close to a direct follow-up, but there's a huge bump in like the animation quality in this. Like it just looks so much cooler. I think the designs are much more slicker. The dub, like the newer dub, which obviously the Sentai one now, the Sentai Blu-ray, so the original film, matches. So yeah, this is the first time we got Lucy Christian as Dunan, and she's played Dunan pretty much through the rest of the franchise. Obviously, the original manga OVA has a completely different dub cast because that was done years and years prior. But yeah, I really, I really like this film as well. I think it's really, really cool. And yeah, this is a pretty nice steelbook. And then obviously, I have the Blu-ray that Warner Brothers also put out. So yeah, just two really, really great films that I really, really love. Yeah, the Appleseed franchise is really, really cool. I'm going to move a little bit closer, I think. Yeah, it might be better. Okay, so next up we have Appleseed 13. This is the limited editions, a little bit dusty on top. So yeah, I actually might get rid of this limited edition soon. I don't know. I kind of want to get standard editions of a lot of stuff, and this did get one. But anyway, whatever. Appleseed 13 is kind of a weird... now I'm going to move further away because I feel like I'm too close. Appleseed 13 is a really weird series in many, many ways. Like, it came out, I think, around 2009, 2010, around that sort of period. And the animation quality, like in terms of like the CG, is a pretty significant downgrade on what the movies were. And obviously the movies have movie budgets. Fair enough. And this is a TV series, so... yeah, fair enough again, I guess. But still, I don't really like the new designs of Dunan. It's kind of weird. It's a weird trade-off because she looks more like she does in the manga, which I appreciate, with like the big 80s like mop hair and stuff. But yeah, overall, I wasn't as hot on the designs in this. And the show itself is kind of complicated. It has a ton of like Greek, I can't really think of the right term now. Mythology, I think. Yeah, Greek mythology, like references and stuff, and I think it kind of plays on the story. And it kind of, honestly, a lot of that stuff kind of went over my head. But just the basic point by point moments in the story and the action is all pretty decent. But overall, Appleseed 13, I think, is probably better. I like it more than probably your average anime fan that watched this. You know, there's a lot of me just being a fan of this franchise that goes into that. But yeah, overall, it's probably not the best thing in the world, but I did like it. So next up we have Appleseed. Unfortunately, my busted slipcover. I really need to replace this. We've got Appleseed 13, Tartaros and Uranos. Basically all this is a compilation of Appleseed 13, the TV series. It's just two movies that yeah, tell the same story from the TV series, just an edited version of the TV series. It's not very good because the TV series, as I mentioned, is already kind of complicated with a ton of different references in it. And when you start cutting out a bunch of stuff, it just becomes even more harder to follow, at least it did for me. I've only watched the first of these movies. I really need to watch the second one, but that kind of tells you the quality of them. Like, I just didn't really feel like it, because I remember I went through the whole Appleseed franchise again, and I got basically to watching these, and I just went, you know what, I don't really want to watch the second one. I kind of just want to go straight into what is currently the most recent Appleseed release, Appleseed Alpha. Now, this is technically, in terms of storyline, I've got everything really, as you've probably realised already, my whole Appleseed franchise is in order of release. But Appleseed Alpha, in terms of story, continuity, is the beginning, hence Alpha. Yeah, this is kind of cool. There's a new redesign again. Dunan has this kind of complete... I mean, she looks cool and all that, but she also looks the least like she does in the manga, like, sort of thing. This is the one where I feel like they went furthest away. But this is also, I should probably mention, just before I get into other things, that the animation in this is really top notch. Like, the CG is of the highest quality it's ever been. It really stands out. And yeah, this actually movie has only ever had an English dub, I think. Yeah, it was, or at least at the very least, kind of in the same vein as Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. It was made in English first. Hence, which kind of tells you how popular Appleseed is in the West. Weird thing about Dunan, though, not only does she have a complete redesign, I hate this bit here. I mean, I don't overly hate it, but it's more it's more the point that this is completely impractical. You are someone who goes into military warfare over and over and over again, especially in this part of the story, and you are not covering up your most vital organ with any sort of like chest plate or anything. It looks ludicrous, honestly. Like, it really bugs me. It's there obviously for fan service sort of stuff. and I, not overly opposed. I do like Dunan quite a lot, but still, it really pissed me off, that part of her design. It just because it just yeah, takes away from the story for me, because it's just so impractical. But anyway, whatever. Appleseed Alpha is really a lot of fun. I really liked it. It's currently, as I said, the last bit of Appleseed animation we've ever got. I think this came out in like 2014, 2013. It's really dark on the back, I don't know. But yeah, I would obviously like to get more Appleseed at some point. So yeah, next up we've got the Big O, something obviously I haven't watched quite yet. I picked this up relatively recently. I picked it up in the Sentai Filmworks Holiday Haul sale, as you saw in my video, I hope. My pickups video for that. Yeah, haven't watched it yet. This contains both seasons. They're both upscaled, unfortunately, even though the first season is cell painted, which is, yeah, unfortunate. But yeah, happy to have this show on Blu-ray. I really like the art style for it. It reminds me a lot of Batman the Animated Series. It's very like deco, like Art Deco sort of style. Deco punk is a phrase I learned relatively recently that don't know if it necessarily describes the show, but maybe. So yeah, the Big O. Haven't watched it yet. Look forward to eventually doing so. Okay, so next up here we have my 10 Blackjack OVAs across 7 DVDs. Basically the first 3 have 2 episodes each, and then the last 4 are obviously single episodes each. So yeah, we have the first box set of Blackjack OVAs, and then the second box set. I'm going to pause, I'm going to take them out of this box, and then we can kind of look at all the covers, which would be nice. Okay, so yeah, these were 10 OVAs based on Osamu Tezuka's Blackjack franchise manga that were made by Osamu Tezuka, and yeah, they're really good, high-quality dramas, medical dramas, mystery, a little bit supernatural, just great seinen main character in Blackjack and stuff, and yeah, just really cool stuff. As I said, the first 3 volumes here have 2 episodes each, and yeah, they're just really cool. I watched these I think a couple of years ago now, and I really did fall in love with them. Great dub. I think is it Kirk Fulton that plays Blackjack? He's just amazing as Blackjack. And yeah, they're just really neat. OVAs that ran, they're like, each one's about 50 minutes each. They ran between like the early 90s to the mid 90s. And yeah, these DVDs aren't the greatest. They're not They're not terrible, but they're not amazing either. But they do include, as you can see here, some pretty cool extras. Like multiple, not all of them, but multiple volumes here have commentaries on. That one did. This one does. So yeah, it's just really cool stuff. This one like takes place in Vietnam. It's pretty neat. And yeah, they're kind of a mix of just general medical, like drama, but then there's also like some like supernatural stuff in there as well. They're really cool. Very much different to most of the rest of the Blackjack franchise, minus the thing we're about to talk about. There is actually 2 extra OVAs for this that came out in like 2011 or something, called Blackjack Final. There is a Blu-ray release in Japan, or at least there was. I'm pretty sure it's out of print now, but there was a Blu-ray release in Japan that had all of these 10 episodes with the English dub on, which is kind of cool, except they cut the 4:3 image to widescreen, which really bugs me when companies are that stupid doing stuff like that. Just, oh, I don't know. I'd love to know who the fuck is in charge of some of these companies that make these decisions. Like Funimation, Dragon Ball Z, that dated this video, but oh well. Anyway, or did it? Will there ever be a time when that is actually dated, because Funimation keep fucking up? But anyway, whatever. So yeah, and then Osamu Tezuka also did a 1997, I believe, film, Blackjack the Movie. Yeah, Blackjack the Movie, which is also really cool. This one's almost 2 hours long. And yeah, I really like this one as well. Again, it's got like some kind of crazy, not supernatural. There's some like drug elements that set people down some like sort of crazy looking moments or whatever. Yeah, I enjoyed this film quite a lot. Again, one of the things I really like about the Blackjack franchise is kind of just seeing some of this, like some of these surgical procedures, and especially in the movie, given that it has a slightly higher budget, obviously. Like seeing yeah, those surgical procedures with, and those in 2D animation, in cell animation, and just seeing like the amount of detail they put into it, it can be really, really cool to see that stuff for me. It's just, as someone who really appreciates the art of animation, I think Blackjack the movie is really cool for that stuff, and the movie itself is pretty decent. I'd like to watch it again. It's been a couple of years now. Anyway, yeah, so Blackjack the movie, love the Blackjack franchise. Really would love Discotheque to do a Blu-ray release for Blackjack, maybe without the widescreen. I really hope they would after they put out the movie. I thought it really would be a case of when rather than if, but it seems to have be if at the moment, if they do it. Because, yeah, I'm not convinced they're going to at the moment, at least not yet. Anyway, next up we have Ray the Animation. This is put out by Made in Japan. Yes, this is technically out of alphabetical order, but this is loosely tied to Blackjack. He does appear very small side like cameo appearances in this, and yeah, it's basically a similar drama, surgery medical drama about this girl here called Ray, who basically lost her sight, but she had her eyes replaced or something. And she can, or I think she might be blind, but for some reason, she can still see like through people with like almost like X-ray vision to kind of like see what ails them, if you will, underneath their skin and stuff. It's interesting. There's a lot of other weird like drama stuff going on in this as well. It's a decent little series, not overly amazing, but it's nice to actually have it on DVD thanks to Made in Japan. And then we've also got Young Blackjack, which I have not watched yet. This is a very Otome styled looking Blackjack, and it basically tells a story of Blackjack in Vietnam in the 70s or 60s. I actually don't know a lot about the Vietnam War. Again, I'm British, not American, so it's not something that really we know a lot about, honestly, and I haven't looked into it myself. But anyway, yeah, regardless, Young Blackjack. Not watched it yet. I believe it's a sub only. Yeah, sub only. But yeah, I hope to eventually watch it and hopefully enjoy it. I hope the Otome styling doesn't reflect too much on the actual like drama. I mean, again, you know, nothing wrong with Otome type shows. It's just it's not necessarily what I'm looking for from Blackjack. So I hope it's not too apparent in that series. Okay, so next up we go to one of my absolute favorite anime ever. Black Lagoon. I do own the show, the TV series on Blu-ray. These are DVDs, as we'll get into. I have it on Blu-ray somewhere up there. Can you see in that green box up there? Yeah, I have the Blackjack franchise up there, but I also have it down here in these steelbooks. So yeah, these are the DVDs. Hello there. Very shiny DVDs, steelbooks that Genium put out. Basically, they released like 4 volumes, or is it 3 volumes a season? I can't remember. Separately, but also one of them came with like a limited edition steelbook, and the steelbook has, if I can open it carefully, enough space to put all 4 volumes, or is it? I'm pretty sure it is 3 volumes and an extras disc. Yeah. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. I bought these after I had the Blu-rays. The first time I ever watched the show was via the Blu-rays, although different Blu-rays to the ones that are in that box up there. But anyway, yeah, I saw these going on eBay. I always thought these looked really, really cool, like nice and shiny looking. And yeah, I really love Black Lagoon a lot, so I definitely wanted to have these in my collection. So here's the second one, Black Lagoon, the second barrage. Again, just pretty cool looking steelbooks. And then I also have, obviously, Roberta's Blood Trail, which is the technically season 3, I guess. This is a 5-episode OVA that at the time when this came out, I believe it kind of got the manga up to date. Although weirdly, I haven't read all the manga. I used to own pretty much all that was out of the manga, but I ended up selling it. But weirdly, this OVA, the story part of this OVA, actually takes place way earlier in the TV series, in the manga, sorry, compared to the TV series, where it's the last thing that's currently been put out. But yeah, in the manga storyline, it takes place way earlier, so it's kind of weird that it was cut out originally. Maybe it was because they wanted to go full hog super bloody with it, but again, like most anime these days have at least 1 or 2 a season are pretty gory. And so, yeah, while this is certainly bloody, there was nothing in it. I really don't see why this couldn't have been in the TV series at the time. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, Black Lagoon, Roberta's Blood Trail. But yeah, I love the Black Lagoon franchise. It's basically, I mean, it says it on quite a lot of the blurbs on the back, but it's basically like heroic bloodshed, like triad, like crime, action, like 80s, 90s action films. Like, it's super cool. The characters are great. Rock. I think it's Rock, isn't it? Who's like the Japanese salary man who basically ends up joining this crew of like guns for hire, basically. Like the Lagoon Company, and yeah, he just pointing out while we talk about it. Yeah, like he's really really cool. But then we also have this as a cosplayer of sorts doing Herbert Revy, the Chinese American, who is just unbelievably cool. She is the most badass female character in all of anime. I love her to pieces. She is just completely psychotic, but also has this like genuine like emotional side to her as well. That there's like this last strain of humanity in her that Rock sort of kind of brings out of her, kind of, but not like deliberately on Rock's side. There's some interesting elements to their relationship that makes this series super engaging. The manga has kind of been on off in terms of hiatus for many years now. I would really, ideally hope that we can get some sort of conclusion to this series. Although at the same time, I must confess, as much like because that's the main reason I want that is just because I want more of the anime. But I must confess, honestly, there really isn't an ending to this series that isn't either you're killing off characters, or it just never like or freaking Rock and Revy freaking disappear off into the sunset somewhere. Like like they get out of it. They get out of this freaking hellhole that they're in. Like I generally just don't understand. There really is no other ending for me. Otherwise, it's just they're there forever doing the adventures they do, and that's also cool as well. I don't know. But yeah, I adore the amount of episodes we have, which I think is about 30 episodes. One of my absolute favorite franchise. I love it to pieces. Black Lagoon is definitely a series that you need to see, and I'm sure you already have. Okay then, next up we have Batum. This is an interesting series. I think it came out like 2014, 2013, maybe 2012, somewhere around there. This is an unfortunately unfinished series, but this is a series that is really interesting nowadays. Now, because when you think about video games nowadays, what is the number one video game in the world? Fortnite, but what was that also influenced by? PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. What was that influenced by? The Japanese film Battle Royale. Interesting thing about Batum is it came out before both those video games did. It's also obviously heavily influenced by Battle Royale, but the interesting thing about Batum is it brings in that video game element to it, where you got all these basically these players that were all like super addicted to this video game, or at least one of the main character was. I can't remember if the others were. I'm pretty sure they were though. And they basically all just get transported to this island at some point. I forget the ins and outs of why. It's been a while since I watched it. But they get taken to this island, dropped on this island, and they basically have to fend for themselves and basically survive to the end, which is basically the same concept of the video game that the main character was playing before, which may have been called Batum as well. I generally don't remember. But yeah, like this series has really aged remarkably well in terms of being concurrent with now, much more than what it was when it was first released. This is a really interesting series. Unfortunately, I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but the story is unfinished. This is only half of, really half of a show, and there's never been any more. The manga, I don't know if the manga's finished by now, but it was going still at the time, so it was understandable that we didn't get any more for a while. And I'm honestly kind of shocked that this show hasn't come back, because as I said, couldn't be more relevant to general pop culture now. Like, it is absolutely totally mainstream series, and it should totally get a second season. I'm baffled that it hasn't gotten more. So yeah, Batum, recommended. It's a lot of fun, but the story is not finished, unfortunately. So yeah, The Tomb. Okay, next to that we have Bubblegum Crisis. This is the first of the Animego Blu-rays that have been coming out via Kickstarter for like the last few years. This is the first one they did, so this is the complete, what was it, 8 episodes of Bubblegum Crisis. And yeah, Bubblegum Crisis, really, really fantastic series. Obviously heavily influenced by Blade Runner and like Streets on Fire, I believe that film is called. Especially the opening to Streets on Fire. It's basically almost a shot-for-shot remake when it comes to Bubblegum Crisis. Like, they basically just completely ripped it off, but it's super cool anyway. And yeah, Bubblegum Crisis is just really great fun. Sci-fi, cyberpunk series with just really unbelievable soundtrack. One of my absolute favorites, like Japanese 80s, like J-pop is just super good, in my opinion. I pretty much love all that stuff, and in here it's really, really great. There's some great music in this. And yeah, just overall, Bubblegum Crisis is a pretty iconic series. Interesting series as well. It was meant to run for a lot longer than this original 8 episodes, but it got cancelled. Now, I haven't overly looked into it. I can only assume that's down to poor sales, which is kind of surprising for something that's gone on to be so iconic in the years after the fact. And yeah, it's gone on to spawn various other entries in its own franchise and stuff. So yeah, it certainly wasn't a failure, but maybe it was initially. But yeah, Bubblegum Crisis, this looks pretty good on Blu-ray. It's a pretty decent Blu-ray from Animego, obviously in beautiful HD from the film prints. It looks really, really nice based on like the Japanese Blu-ray. And yeah, this is very cool. You can't get this edition anymore, but unless you go on eBay or something. But there is a new edition that Animego have done in recent months, but it only comes on 1 disc, which is kind of surprising because I'm pretty sure the running time of this in total is somewhere close to 3.5 to 4 hours, somewhere around there, I believe. So yeah, I don't know how good that would look on 1 disc because it is in HD, so it's not like it's in an SD Blu-ray or something. So yeah, I don't know how good that looks. But it is still technically available on Blu-ray for those that want it, but I can't imagine it's going to look too amazing. But anyway, regardless, Bubblegum Crisis, amazing, amazing series. And yeah, really nice Kickstarter, like Ultra Edition this was. I have my name. There's this thing they do with every campaign. I only ever did it for the first one. So when the disc initially boots up, it has like almost like premium backers, if you will, or something. Like people have paid stupid money for something that really doesn't matter. But yeah, so when it first boots up, it has all these names, and mine's one of the ones on there. There's like 50 names or something. So yeah, if you have this edition, you'll see my name on the front of the disc, which I kind of thought was cool at the time, and I still kind of think it's neat. But even though they've offered that same backer prize, I can't remember the right term right now. Yeah, I've never done it since. Okay, next to that we have Bubblegum Crash, or the Total Crash Collection. I kind of hate the way that they did the spine for this. So instead of just having Bubblegum Crash on the spine, they've got Total Crash, which is not what it's fucking called. It's called Bubblegum Crash. So yeah, I generally don't know why they did this, but yeah, this is a 3-episode follow-up to Bubblegum Crisis. Is basically just a straight up sequel. It's pretty decent, some good drama in there. Yeah, definitely something for the completionists. There is no Blu-ray release of this in Japan. I hope there'll be one eventually, or I hope at the very least that maybe Animego might be able to make it happen. Yeah, we actually got their announcement of their next project, and that's Megazone 23. So it won't be a while. It'll be a while yet before we get this. Although I didn't mention it at the time, probably because it wasn't relevant at the time. But 80 Police is something that Animego have also teased at doing a Blu-ray release of on Kickstarter for a long time, but they've never done it. Anyway, moving on. Next thing we've got here is Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040. This is a mid-90s series that basically retells the Bubblegum Crisis story with 90s styled character designs and stuff, which is not stuff that's aged overly well. There's like certain period. Some 90s anime character designs I really like, but this sort of style here, I've never been a huge fan of. But anyway, as I said, This is basically a remake, retelling, whatever, reimagining of Bubblegum Crisis. It's 24 episodes, so it's considerably longer. And yeah, this is the Australian release. I bought this because this is basically the only single DVD keep case version that has ever been released in the entire world, I believe. At least in English anyway. So yeah, I've never watched this. I hope to eventually, but I'm kind of not scared to watch it, but I don't envision myself liking this very much. So as of yet, I have not watched it. If you have, curious to know what you feel about it, especially if you've also seen the original, preferably if you've seen the original. Because yeah, I do like the original a lot. I didn't mention it before, but Kenichi Sonoda's character designs are some of my absolute favourites. I actually have an art book somewhere down here. There it is, the complete, that one with the silver and 1986 to 1991. So like Kenichi Sonoda art book. I really do love his character designs a lot. Anyway, so next up we have Conan, which is how I say it because that's how her name is pronounced in the dub, though my friend Rocco Tachi watched this in Japanese and he says they say in the Japanese it's Conan, I believe, or something like Conan. I don't remember. It's certainly not Kanan in the Japanese, but that's how I'm going to refer to it because that's how it was in the dub, and I think that's actually the coolest way of saying it in my opinion. If I would say that, because that's the version I'm most used to. Anyway, whatever. Kanan, sort of. What do I trying to remember? The kind of plot to this series. It's a PA work series. Came out in like 2009ish or something. This is one of the first Sentai Filmworks Blu-rays. So yeah, about 12 episodes. Obviously, PA Works, one of the best studios, and this is a quality production. But it's also maybe not the most amazing thing in the world. Again, I barely remember much about it. Girl with gun show, kind of cool stuff, cool action pieces. It's sort of, is it like futuristic in a way a little bit, or like? No, I honestly don't remember. I don't remember. Kanan, I remember liking it, and that's honestly about as much of my opinion I can go towards it. Or whatever, I can't even speak properly. Yeah, I just don't really remember a lot about it, other than I liked it. Anyway, okay, so next up we have the 5 DVDs, but 6 Detective Conan movies, or Case Closed, that Funimation put out. So these all have the Case Closed version dub, which I didn't really learn until after the fact, but it changes like characters' names. I believe the TV series weirdly has this thing where they're kind of playing off the fact that it's all meant to take place in Los Angeles or something weird. I don't really know. These films don't tend to bring that element up, at least I don't believe they did. I remember liking the dub, it's pretty good. And yeah, I only have the movies, because this is all I've actually seen of Detective Conan. I've actually seen 9 of like the 21 movies, I think it is now. I decided to go with the movies because there's so much of this show, and it's episodic. There's like 900 episodes now of Detective Conan, and the whole thing is episodic, pretty much. There's like obviously a couple of double episodes, maybe even odd triple episodes somewhere around there, but for the most part the series is mystery of the week, almost Scooby-Doo style. And yeah, that was actually kind of profoundly disappointing when I originally wanted to get into this franchise, because I was kind of hoping for, you know, these really long, like 20-25 episode long mysteries, and then maybe a couple of like side episodes, and then we go into another giant like arc, basically kind of like shonen style. And yeah, that's not what the show is. So but I kind of wanted to experience the franchise, so I decided to watch the movies, and I did watch a bunch of the movies, not via these DVDs. I watched them via like WebRip, fansub, freaking whatever, illegal shit basically. And I ended up really liking them. Didn't think I was going to collect the DVDs though, because I believe there's a good chance that maybe Discotek will get into these. Obviously TMS Entertainment are the company behind Detective Conan, at least the anime stuff, and that's obviously the same company that hold Lupin. And yeah, like when it comes to Discotek, obviously they have a really good relationship with TMS Entertainment, so I thought once Funimation's license lapsed, maybe that Discotek will pick it up and put these movies out on Blu-ray, because all the ones I have here have Blu-rays in Japan. But anyway, these DVDs were also really cheap, so I decided, frick it, I'll just go and buy these for now, and then when Blu-rays come out, I'll buy those as well, because I do like these movies. So after that long pointless spiel out of the way, so yeah, this is the first 2 movies in a double feature. These also got single DVD releases like the rest of them, but this is also the only 2 movies that got a double feature release as well. So we got the Time-Bombed Skyscraper and the 14th Target. Pretty decent films. Well, these are all completely out of order. That one definitely doesn't go there. That's the last one. Crap. I actually don't know what order to... I'm hoping it's just that one that was out of order. So, then we got Countdown to Heaven, which I believe is my favourite film of the lot. Is this definitely the one with the skyscrapers and stuff? Yeah, when the opening of 2 skyscrapers. So yeah, this is super cool. It's kind of like... It's not kind of really like that. I don't know, like a little bit Die Hardy in a way, like Die Hard. Like it takes place in like this giant skyscraper, and like some shit goes down in the skyscraper. At one point, there's like fear of the skyscraper like coming down. Basically, it's super fun, lots of action. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. It's definitely my favorite of the original 6. Then we have Captured in Her Eyes, which yeah, I don't remember too much about this one, though decent. They're all pretty good. And we have The Last Wizard of the Century, which yeah, this one takes place in like some castle somewhere. I remember that. Pretty decent again. They're just really good fun, like action capers with like some mystery thrown in. They've got kind of a weird one, The Phantom of Baker Street, which this one takes place inside basically a video game sort of thing. They all go inside like these giant eggs, which are like the latest video games, and they go in there and solve mysteries and stuff. I know there's stuff that, you know, films or TV shows that have done exactly that. I can't remember what they're called, but yeah, they go inside like virtual spaces and solve a mystery or whatever. Kind of like Star Trek-y, I guess, in some ways. So yeah, The Phantom of Baker Street is pretty decent. As I said, I've seen like 3 more movies as well. I really need to get through the rest of the movies. I do really enjoy them a lot. They're a lot of fun. I enjoyed the English dub quite a lot. Again, it does change some of the names and stuff. I'm sure purists won't like that, but someone didn't really know that was what I didn't know that that was a thing. I didn't know that what I was getting into in that regard. So I just kind of watched the dub and didn't think anything of like, you know, the main. There's not really a cover that has her on there, but she's on the spine here. Like, I didn't really think anything of her being called Rachel, which is not even close to what her name is in Japanese, I believe. So yeah, but overall, these are fun to have, and if Discotek don't ever get them, as I said, I'll be glad to have these, which is partly why I went through and picked them up. Right, I'm going to take a quick break actually, because my voice is really getting rough. Okay, so next up we have one of my absolute favourite 1980s anime that I've watched. I haven't watched too many TV series from the 80s so far, but Cat's Eye is one I really fell in love with. So yeah, this is a series about these 3 basically art thieves, these 3 sisters that are called Cat's Eye. That's the name of their group. They live over the road from a police station, and they basically run a little cafe across from the police station, which also coincidentally I believe is called Cat's Eye. Basically the people at the police station are pretty thick, because not only are they clearly the thieves, but also the one of the young like superintendents or whatever at the police station is also dating the main or one of the middle sister, I think she is. And yeah, Cat's Eye, a lot of fun. Again, pretty episodic. It's just about them doing like thieving, like capers or whatever. I can't even think of the right freaking terms right now, but yeah, that's basically what the setup of each episode is. They're trying to get back all of their long lost father's art pieces and bring them all back into their possession. So yeah, they try and pass it off as them being, goody two shoes, but having to go through these means in order to get their stuff back. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really really enjoyed the series. The chemistry of like the three sisters is really great. It's got some really fun action, and then there's some really daft, like simple but fun, like innocent, charming, like romantic comedy between the middle sister and the guy who works at the police station. And yeah, and there's a lot of like oh, I can't think of the right term right now. I just paused for like 3 minutes, still couldn't think of the term, so we're just gonna forget it. But yeah, just a lot of fun, like comedy between the fact that the police guy doesn't recognize these three girls and stuff, and a lot of like close calls and stuff as some other people in the police station begin to have some suspicion of these three girls, but perhaps being Cat's Eye. And yeah, again, a lot of fun. There's 2 seasons that Right Stuff put out on DVD. The complete episode total is 73 episodes, and yeah, it ran between like 1982 and 3, or 83 and 4, somewhere around there. Yeah, I really really like it. Made by the same person who made like the original manga, is the same author who did City Hunter, which we'll be talking about in a minute. So yeah, I really like this guy's work. I read a manga of his, which hasn't had an anime adaptation, called Family Compo, can't quite remember, which I absolutely loved. So yeah, I really like this guy's work, and it'd be cool if we got more stuff like manga or anime based on his work, so these new ones as well as classics, which again we'll be getting into in a minute. So yeah, Cat's Eye, let's take the DVDs out if we can. I have like yeah. I have one of oh god, that was a disaster. Art box fortunately survived its fall, thank god. So yeah, I have like there's one of these Right Stuff promotional things that just happened to be Cat's Eye season 2, so I ended up keeping it. And then yeah, we got the season 2 set. You better enjoy seeing these, because I just risked the art box in order to show you them. Anyway. And then we got the first series, or the first season, whatever. So yeah, I think these are like 37 and 36 or something. I can't do the maths right now, but yeah, somewhere around there per season. So let's put these back without the box for now. So yeah, I highly recommend getting these. I don't know how much longer they'll be in print. Obviously, Rose of Versailles and Space Adventure Cobra, I believe, are both out of print, or on the verge, or have gone out of print or something from Right Stuff, so it seems unlikely that these are going to get renewed or whatever. So yeah, if you don't have these already, I highly recommend getting them. I believe the art box is long out of print. It was like a pre-order-ish sort of bonus, or like first print run bonus sort of thing for season 1 or season 2 or something. So yeah, if you don't have the art box, you may have missed out on that, but there's still a chance to get the DVDs. There is a beautiful Blu-ray release of this in Japan. I'm hoping if the license does lapse from Right Stuff, that we'll get a Blu-ray release from Discotek or something. That'd be amazing. Okay, something that also just came out on Blu-ray in Japan relatively recently is City Hunter. I do have the complete ADV collection of City Hunter. Everything that's come out officially in English. So yeah, we'll talk about the first series, and well, let's just finish the shelf, shall we? So whatever. Yeah, City Hunter 1. This is the only TV series I've currently watched so far. I really enjoyed the show. It's basically episodic. What should we? Like episodic, like it's not really gun for hire. It kind of is. I guess. Like, it's this guy here who basically runs like this little. He basically puts up these what is it, like calling cards or whatever for like XYZ or something, and he puts them up on a billboard somewhere in Tokyo. Probably, I can't quite remember where it takes place, but it probably takes place in Tokyo. And then people can like basically ask. They put XYZ up on a billboard or whatever, and he'll come a calling and help solve some sort of mystery for them or something. gun for hire style. And yeah, it's a pretty good series. I do enjoy it a lot. It's very 80s, very cheesy fun. The main character is very kind of like pervy, I guess. So there is some etchy stuff. It's not too bad, but in that sense, it's definitely played for laughs more than for anything else. But yeah, pretty fun series. He's got like a relationship with this girl that I think lives with him. Again, I can't quite remember. It's been a little while, a couple of years since I've watched it, and I don't remember the exact details of everything right now, especially since I've been talking for nearly an hour. But yeah, City Hunter, I do enjoy it a lot. Let's just put it that way. It's a fun series. I hope to get through the rest of it. This season was like 63 episodes, or maybe not. No, this one was like 51, I believe. And then the second season, which I've only watched the first 5 episodes of so far, is 63 episodes. So yeah, 80 series done by Sunrise. A lot of fun. These DVDs were these came out before the remastered ones did in Japan, so they don't look overly great. There's some like ghosting issues, I think, occasionally, and things like that. They're not the best DVDs in the world, but they're currently the only versions you can get in English, apart from maybe, I think there's like a DVD release in France, which for some reason has like English subtitles on them. These don't have dubs, they're all Japanese only with English subtitles. As I said, the first series recently came out on Blu-ray in Japan, so I don't know, maybe Discotheque will come along relatively soon, maybe, who knows, and start releasing this show on Blu-ray and DVD. That'd be really awesome. It definitely deserves to be back in print. It's a classic series and there's a lot of it, so there's lots to play around with. There's also an OVA that's missing that we'll get into whenever we do this shelf as well. There's also a new movie that's just come out, I believe, in Japan. It was on the verge of coming out. Yeah, 2019 City Hunter film, which is also pretty neat. Jackie Chan also did a film based on this franchise, although very loosely. Yeah, that's the shelf. Fuck me, I talked about this stuff for so long. I have no idea how long this video is, but I think it's far too long. But oh well, that's tends to be how these collection videos go, and I haven't done one for ages. So that's the first shelf. We'll end up doing the second shelf another time. This is just going to be a long, ongoing project. Eventually we'll do the third and the fourth. Then we'll move on to NIS and all this stuff. Lots and lots of cool stuff to get to. So yeah, anyways, thanks for listening. And yeah, if there's anything here that you've seen, I'd love to hear about it. And yeah, anyways, thanks for listening. And I'll see you next time.